Welcome back to the Tale of Transposition. This video continues the story from the previous episode. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll enjoy this chapter even more by watching that one first. I've included a link in the description below, so feel free to check it out. In time, word of the young lord's exceptional talents and beauty spread throughout the land. Even the emperor and crown prince heard the rumors and grew curious. To think such a remarkable youth hasn't yet appeared at court. They urged the senior counselor to have him attend court. But the counselor, burdened with the secret that the young lord was truly a girl, could only reply, "He is still too young to serve." The emperor, assuming the father simply wished to shield his child from public view, took action. In an unusual move, he granted the young lord the 5th rank even before his coming of age. He repeatedly ordered the counselor to perform the coming-of-age ceremony and present the youth at court. Unable to refuse, the counselor sighed. So be it. Perhaps this is fate. These children were born to live each other's lives. The counselor prepared both the coming-of-age ceremonies for his children. When the court ladies heard the news, they were overjoyed, not hesitant. Eagerly, they rushed to help with the preparations. On the night of the ceremony, around 8 p.m., the princess appeared. Dressed in a white kosode and red hakama, she was accompanied by her mother to the main hall. The room, cleared of screens and dividers, was filled with robes and incense sets gifted in celebration. A lady-in-waiting approached, carrying a tray of ceremonial hair tools. She raised the princess's long hair, tied it with black cords, and fastened it with a hairpin and purple ribbon. The princess then donned her mo, a symbol of womanhood. Her grandfather, the great lord, took the role of Koshiu, tying the long cords of her mo. However, as he was a man, he adjusted it from behind while a lady stepped in front to finish the task. This deviation from custom was rare but understandable, given the secret they carried. Dim lanterns lit the room softly. The guests in attendance were struck by the princess's elegance. Those who saw the ceremony assumed they had merely mistaken the young lord's identity all along. So the Lady of the East Wing's child is a girl. Even the few who knew the truth remained silent. This secrecy gave the counselor some relief. Still, when people said, "She's had her coming-of-age ceremonially, court service is next," his heart would clench with anxiety. The young lord's own coming-of-age ceremony was conducted by his uncle, the Minister of the Right. His appearance, already praised, became even more splendid once dressed for the occasion. The minister was so impressed he spoke of marrying one of his daughters to the youth. His celebratory gifts were beyond lavish. Because the young lord had already been ranked, people now referred to him as Taiyu no Kimi. That autumn, he was appointed chamberlain in the seasonal court appointments. Anyone who met him, man or woman, was captivated by his noble bearing. He excelled in music, poetry, calligraphy, etiquette, and court knowledge. His charm and conduct made him a shining presence in the palace. His father, though still sorrowful, began to find pride and joy in the young lord's rising success. Perhaps this was destiny. He can live as a man now. In childhood, the young lord believed there must be other girls like him. Proud of his talents, he acted freely and confidently. But as he grew older, he began to feel unease. Why was I born so different? He became careful in how he spoke, never letting anyone suspect the truth. His poised service at court was admired by all. Meanwhile, after her coming-of-age ceremony, the princess dressed properly in layered robes. Her eyebrows were plucked, her teeth dyed black, and she lived quietly behind curtains. Now treated as a lady, she learned kana writing, incense blending, robe colors, and patterns. She no longer laughed aloud, and spoke softly only through her attendants. Even walking became ceremonial, sliding on her knees, never standing outright. Her hair care took an entire day, washed on astrologically chosen days, combed, oiled, and dried. 4 or 5 days a month, she lay in bed, feigning the monthly restrictions of noble women. Though overwhelmed by the court's expectations, she was relieved not to meet unfamiliar men. And in time, she began to find joy in living as a princess despite being a man. At the time, The emperor was in his early 40s, dignified and impressive. The crown prince, in his late 20s, was noble and refined. When they heard rumors of the chamberlain's beautiful sister, both expressed interest in her, but the counselor declined all invitations, saying she was far too shy. If only she could accept such generous offers, how wonderful that would be. And he continued to quietly lament the cruel twist of fate. If you enjoyed this video and wish to see the next chapter, please consider subscribing and giving it a like. Your support helps us share more beautiful tales from classic Japan.